This conference will now be recorded.
Om yo brahmanam vidhati purvam yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tam adevamātma buddhi prakāṣam mukṣurvai sharanamam prapatye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmanebhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradayakarbhyo Vamshadishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyah Sarvopaplavarahitam Prajnanaghana Pratyagarbho Brahmaivamasmi Brahmaivamasmi. Vedantartha vibhasakaya gurave Shantaya sannyasine Nanavani nagendra sankapavaihe Yogindra Vandyaya cha Mohadvanta Nibhakaraya Bhagavat Pada Pidham Vibhyate Tasmai Bhashakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Yasya nishvasitam veda yo vedebhyo khilam jagat nirmametamaham vande vidyatirthamaheshwaram. We are on page number 11. Oh no, we have gone further than that. Okay, no, on 11. Vidvat sannyas is the natural fructification of the knowledge which is matured. In knowing that Atma is Brahman, one discovers that his essential nature is free from the blemishes of kartritvam and bhotritvam, is free from the blemishes of experiencership and the doership. Associated with the experiencership, one finds that I am happy, I am sad. And because one is necessarily sad, one finds that he is miserable. Then he asks the next question, that what should I do in order to remove this and enhance my happiness? Thus the question, what should I do, becomes relevant only when one is a doer. In wake of this knowledge that Atma is Brahman, the doership and experiencership is falsified. Just like the blueness of the sky The sky appears to be blue, and we say so. We are enchanted, enticed with the color of the blue sky. But the sky does not have any color at all. Space does not have any color. And therefore, in wake of this knowledge that space is colorless and formless, the form which appears in this space, the space appears to be like an inverted pan, kata, kathai. Lift your head and look at the sky, it appears to be like an inverted pan. There is a form which one sees, experiences. There is a color, whether it is the autumnal blue or the murky grey, whichever color that is seen in the sky, there is neither any form nor any color to the sky, to the space. And yet it is seen. Just because something is seen, something is experienced, does not mean that it is real. Those who have this claim of saying that since something is experienced, it has to be real. The only declaration of what is real is experience. Those who are saying this are basically making a very defective statement. And when I say defective, the only defect is that of a defect of a statement is that the statement can be proven wrong. The other defect of a statement is when the statement is not coherent. When it is not coherent, when it is not meaningfully associated, when there is no sangati to the earlier statements and the statements to be followed later on, then such a statement is only a blabbering of a madman, unmatta pralap. Just blabbering of a madman, it can be somebody's catharsis, but it is not a statement which has got validity. The other defect of a statement is that a statement, if it can be proven wrong, then it is a defect. So those people who are saying that experience is a declaration of something that is real is a defective statement, because you experience even the snake on the rope. The Rajju Sarpa is also experienced, and if by that standard something which is experienced has to be real, then the Rajju Sarpa will also become real. But no one agrees that Rajju Sarpa is real. Nobody agrees the Shukti Rajata is real. The silver in the shell is real. It is experienced. Just because something is experienced does not make it real, for heaven's sake. So let us get over this obsession. Experience by itself is of two categories, Yathartha Anubhava and Ayathartha Anubhava. Yathartha means something which is valid, and ayathartha means something that is invalid. Yathartha means something that is true. Ayathartha means something that is false. Experience itself has got these two facets. Just by calling something an experience is real is not the thing. Experience by itself is not real. There is experience of something that is real that makes the experience as real experience. Experience of something that is not real does not make that experience a valid experience, invalid. And therefore, now, in wake of the knowledge that there is no color, no form to this space, the experience that there is color and form to the sky, to this space, is falsified. So, also in wake of this knowledge that Atma is Brahman, this error, the error of saying Atma is I am an experiencer, I am a doer, this error is totally washed out, falsified. And what does one discover is that this Atma that I am is Purnam, Anantam. Is already fulfilled. I am already fulfilled by what? Just by the virtue of my own being. I am fulfilled. When the quest for fulfillment is over, there is no more purpose that seems to be pending, which needs to be achieved, attained, accomplished. The life is totally accomplished, and therefore, sannyasa which arrives after the knowledge is its natural fructification. What else could there be? It is total, it is just not renunciation of karma phala. It is renunciation of karma phala along with the karma. Not only just along with the karma, it is renunciation of karma phala, karma, and kartrutva. The entire gamut of karma is only just these three. There is the action, the result of action, because the action is oriented to achieve a result, whether it is putra, vitt, or loka, irrelevant, there is a result that the action has to produce. If the action is not going to bear any consequence, then who would engage himself in action? Therefore, action will have its result called as karma phalam. And for the action to be done, there is an agent of the action who claims his agency that I am the doer, I am the doer. And therefore, the doership, action of that doer, and the result of the action, all these three become the gamut of karma, of action. And in wake of this knowledge, Atma is Brahman. all three are falsified, given up. This is the renunciation which comes as a result of that knowledge, and therefore free from ego, free from any want. Now the Vidvat sannyasi is content in himself. There is no need, and therefore now the teacher here says, Atha Vidvat sannyasam nirupayamaha. I shall now talk to you about what is Vidvat sannyasa. And in wanting to explain what is Vidvat sannyasa, the teacher has chosen life of Yajnavalkya, sage Yajnavalkya, to explain it. He says, Samyak anushthitaihi shravana manana nididhyasanaihi param tattvam viditavadbhihi sampadyamano vidvat sannyasa. What is called as vidvat sannyasa? That sannyasa which arrives or which is accomplished as a result of knowing the Parama of knowing the ultimate reality. And how was this ultimate reality known? How did this knowledge come? Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. Through Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanaihi Param Tattvam Viditavadhihi. Shravanam is the conclusive understanding of the Upanishad is called as Shravanam. Just listening to the Upanishad is not called as Shravana. Conclusive understanding is called as Shravana. The technical definition of Shravana is Tat. Bhaktur Ichha Tatparya. The very intention of the speaker is called as Tatparya. The words are only the tool for the speaker to express what he intends to convey. There is some meaning, something that the speaker wants to convey. To understand that what is meant by the speaker by employing these words, then when there is that understanding, which is a conclusive understanding, now Tatparya Nishchaya when takes place, then that is called as Shravana. So what exactly is meant by the Upanishads? And not only of one Upanishad, all the Upanishads. And by all, at least we mean the 10 major Upanishads. They are called as major, not just because Bhagavan Shankaracharya has written commentary on them, but because these are the Upanishads which are more often brought into discussion in the Brahma Sutra. This is the reason why we are calling them major. Otherwise, people use these words major and minor Upanishad. Upanishad by itself is Upanishad. All Upanishads have got the same status, Pramanyam. Some people say, oh, well, this is an earlier Upanishad, a later Upanishad. In the tradition, we do not have any admission to this earlier Upanishad and later Upanishad. Anaditvena Veda is Anadi. So by that virtue, how would you have earlier and later? And because that what is earlier is called as major, and that what is later is called as minor. All this. Otherwise, they say, well, the language is different. A big deal. A speaker has his own choice of expression. Shruti Veda is independent. Veda does not have to depend on anyone contemporary language and historical language. This kind of a thing is not applicable to Veda. Anaditvena, and therefore we do not admit to this that something that is major is because it is an earlier Upanishad and a later Upanishad. We have no space for this argument. At least in the Orthodox traditional systems, we do not give this any importance. Pramanyam is what is more important. Then Shravanam means Tatparya Nishchaya. To conclusively understand all the Upanishads is called as Shravanam. Mananam is to empower the Nirnaya, that conclusion, with inference. Dustarkat suviramyatam shrutimatastarakon sandhiyatam vakyarthascha vicharyatam shrutishirah pakshas samashriyatam Dustarkat suviramyatam shrutimatastarakon sandhiyatam. Now, to substantiate the conclusion with inference, which means logic. Logic over here does not work independent as an independent pramana. Pramana is Shruti only, but this Shruti pramana is not opposed by, challenged by inference, but inference comes to serve as a support, is reinforced by inference. This is Mananam. The repetition of Aham Brahmasmi is not called as Mananam. Repetition, just repetition, is called a japa. That is not mananam. To keep on repeating something is avartanam, is japa. That can become japa, but japa is a different spiritual practice, and mananam is a different thing with a different purpose. So that knowledge is now born. And how is this knowledge? That knowledge which is born through the fire of Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasa. This knowledge, what does this knowledge do? Of course, the main thing that the knowledge does is to remove the avidya, to remove the ignorance, destroy the ignorance. But at an empirical level, in the Vyavahara, this knowledge becomes fructifies as Vidvat Sannyasa. So he says, Sampadyamano Vidvat Sannyasa. This is Viditavatihi. So now the sannyasa which is accomplished by those people in whom the knowledge has dawned is Vidvat Sannyasa. Tamcha Yajnavalkya Sampadayamasa. Now this was gained, accomplished by sage Yajnavalkya. Tathahi Vidvatshiromanir Bhagavan Yajnavalkyo Vijigishu Kathayam Bahuvidhena Tattva Nirupanena Ashwalayana Prabhutin Munin Vishitya. Now, these are the various sections of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, wherein Vidvat Shiromani, the one who is the crest jewel of the wise people, wise in the sense of the enlightened ones, amongst them also the one who is like a crest jewel, Vidvat Shiromani, Bhagavan Yajnavalkya, Lord Yajnavalkya. Vijigishu Kathayam. Now, the discussions are also of different types. Certain discussions are done just with an intention of wanting to be victorious. Wanting to be victorious, to win the argument. This is Vijigisha. Vijigisha means a desire to win. So in the court of Janaka, King Janaka, this is how the kings in the earlier days were. They would invite scholars from different fields and hold discussions and debates. So in order to participate and to judge and to understand, the king himself had to be an adept. The king, these were not the kings who were ayyash. You can understand the quality of these kings, people who were rulers. They were not kings who were just interested in doing politics, amassing wealth, and appeasing their senses. These were the kings who were interested in, they were Jigyasu Tattva. They wanted to know what is truth. And so they invited King Janaka, who would invite various scholars, the Vaidikas, to come and discuss, in which now there used to be heated discussions, debates, in which Ashwalayan Prabhuti, various great teachers and scholars like Ashwalayan also would have participated, and the discussion between the debate which was there between Ashwalayan and Yajnavalkya is Vijigishu Katha. because that Ashwalayan also had come with an intention of wanting to win. And even Yajnavalkya also had presented himself in that line as a debater. So now this discussion, this type of katha is not jigyasu. Both of them are like two bulls with their horns blunt. And then Yajnavalkyo Vijigishukathayam Bahuvidhena Tattva-nirupanena. Now, in various ways, Yajnavalkya debates, explains, discusses the reality, and then wins over all these great scholars like Ashwalayan, etc., Munin Vijitya, having won over, victorious, then Vitaraga Kathayam, then the mood of his discussion changes. How does that mood change? The mood of that discussion changes because now he is discussing the reality with Janaka. With Janaka. Who is Janaka the king? He is Vitarada. Now, Janaka by his own nature is somebody, though he is a king and living a life of a grihastha, by his stage he is a grihastha. And externally he is a king, performing his duty as a king. So over there, but how is his antakaranam, how is his inner atmosphere? Vitaraga. Vitaraga means the one from whose heart the likes and dislikes have been washed away, has gone away. Vitaraga. So he is totally unattached to such a person. When the discussion, when the questioner is not like Ashwalayana, but the questioner is someone who is truly wanting to know the reality and one who is free from the blemishes of any ambitions, who is not anchoring any ambitions or any desires. When that recipient of the knowledge is so clean, clear, the mood of the discussion changes. So over there, discussing the reality with Janaka, this discussion is called Vitaraga Katha. So the earlier Katha discussion was called as Vijigishu Katha. This is now is Vitaraga Katha. Janakam Bodhayitva. Then having woken up Janaka to that true reality, to his true nature, Bodhayitva, Maitreyim Bubodhayishu. Now he goes home. Home for what? Carrying the trophy home so that he can show it to his wife with pride. Look here, I have come back with a lot of, winning over all these people, and from the king also I was, look at this, some bravado, to display his bravado, machos, what is it, machismo? No. Maitreim Bubodhayishuko. Now he says that let Maitreyi, my wife, let her also wake up to this truth. Know and be free. Maitreyi Bubodayishu तस्याः त्वरया तत्त्वाभिमुख्याय स्वकर्तव्यं संन्यासं प्रतिजज्ञे. Then त्वरया तत्त्वाभिमुख्याय. Now त्वरया तत्त्वाभिमुख्याय स्वकर्तव्यं संन्यासं प्रतिजज्ञे comes home with an intention of instructing Maitreyi, and then he declares to Maitreyi that Maitreyi, my dear wife, now I shall take to sannyas. Why? Because now he wants his mind to be totally absorbed and not engaged with any of these empirical transactions, because those transactions have lost all their significance for him. And tattvavimukhyaya swakartavyam sannyasam pratijajne. Pratijna means declaring. Tataha tam bodhayitva sannyasam chakara. Then after having imparted the knowledge to Maitreyi, tam bodhayitva, having imparted the knowledge to Maitreyi, sannyasam chakara. He takes to sannyasa. Okay? He renounces. Sannyasam chakara. Tad ubhayam Maitreyi brahmanasya adyantayogo amnayate. Atha yashnivalkyo anyadvrittam upakarishan Maitreyi iti hovacha yashnivalkya pravrachisyan va areyam asmat sthanadasmi iti etavadare khalvamritatvam iti hotva yashnivalkyo vijahara iti cha. Now, O Bhayam, in both the places, in the Maitreyi Brahmana, in the section where there is a discussion with his wife, Maitreyi, that section is called as Maitreyi Brahmana. Brahmana is not caste or anything like that. Section of that book is called as Brahmana. So over there, tad ubhayam Maitreyi Brahmanasya adyantayogo amnayate. So we find his pratijna, his declaration of taking to sannyasa in the beginning of that discussion as well as at the end of the discussion. And this is one of the ways of understanding the Tatparyam. So he intends, this is his intention to take sannyasa. So over there, pravrajishyan va are, and I shall take to sannyasa is what he says. Iti cha. So thus from this discussion with Maitreyi and after observing Yajnavalkya's life, what do we conclude? That there is a sannyasa which comes post knowledge, because there is no doubt about the fact that Yajnavalkya is enlightened, is already liberated, has the knowledge. He has the knowledge. So Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasanam has been completely, flawlessly accomplished in Yajnavalkya's life. And therefore, then after there is mention of his taking to sannyasa. He is not taking to sannyasa so that he will do Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, so that he can have knowledge. Are he already has it. Pishtapeshanavat is not going to be done. It is not like grinding the floor. Grains are ground so that flour can be made. But when you already have their flour ही बोलते हैं ना, whatever. You don't put it back into the grinding machine to grind it. Pishtapeshana. Knowledge is already there. Now he is not taking sannyasa so that he can attain knowledge. He has already. So therefore we concluded that Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam has been flawlessly done in life of Yajnavalkya. And still there is sannyasa. So now this sannyasa is something that is prompted, fueled by knowledge, not by desire for knowledge. You understand? So therefore, now this is a sannyasa. So now, kahola brahmanepi vidvat sannyasa amnayate. So also we find there is a discussion with another Vedic scholar called as Kahola. Okay? With Yajnavalkya himself. So in that section, in that Kahola Brahmana, in that section where there is a discussion with Kahola, over there also we find a reference to Vidvat Sannyasa. How do we find it? Etam vaitam atmanam viditva brahmanaha utraishanayascha vittaishanayascha lokaishanayascha vyuthaya dikshacharyam charanti. Then he says, those Brahmanas means those enlightened people. What happens to them? Those enlightened people, tam atmanam viditva, having known the Atma, having known means tva pratyaya is there. So it is already known. Having known, the knowledge is already there, Atma is Brahman. Having known Brahmanaha, those enlightened people, then what? Putraishanayascha vittaishanayascha lokaishanayascha vyuthaya. What happens? They renounce, they leave, they jerk out of it. Out of what? Out of these ashana, out of these desires. Which desires? Desire to have progeny. Progeny could be of two types: physically born out of you, or even wanting to create disciples and followers. This is also a type of putreshana. So putreshanayascha. So you out of that business of wanting to expand and continue in form of followers, disciples, or children, progeny. Putreshanayascha, vittaishanayascha, out of wanting to expand wealth and have more wealth, whether wealth of this world or the other world. Lokaishanayascha, have a comfortable, wonderful, pleasurable life here and hereafter in other celestial world. Not interested. So thus the person gives up, is jerked out, having given up, renounced leaving these three desires, what does that person do then? Bhikshacharyam. What do they do? Those brahmanas, those enlightened people? Bhikshacharyam charanti. They live a life of bhiksha. That bhiksha means asking alms, which is the insignia of sannyas. So thus we find thus vidvat sannyasa is shown, indicated where even in the Kahola Brahman, in that particular section of Braharanya. In discussing it with Kahola during the debate, then in discussion with Maitreyi, we find Yajnavalkya takes to sannyasa. Who is this Yajnavalkya? The one who is already, who has accomplished Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. And therefore, there is Vidvat Sannyasa. Now, on page number 15, we are just glossing over all those, the discussion in between. And on page number 15, Sharir Brahmanepi Vidvat Sannyasa Vividisha Sannyasau Spashtam Nirdishtau. In another section called as the Sharira Brahmana in the Upanishad in the Braharanya, Sharira Brahmanepi, we find Spashtam, very clearly they are indicated. What is indicated? Both are indicated. Both means Vividisha Sannyasa and Vidvat Sannyasa. Both of these are very clearly indicated where? In the Sharira Brahmana. So Sharira Brahmanepi Vidvat Sannyasa Vividisha Sannyasa Spashtam Nirdishtau. How? Etameva viditva munir bhavati. First, now pay attention to the words. Because if you want to understand, catch hold of what is meant by the speaker, you will have to follow his words. Because over here, the problem is not like us, where the person has one thing in his heart, but has got different words and expressions. Correct? Sometimes we may not like a person, but then for formality's sake, we may say, you are so nice, so good, so beautiful. But right inside, that fellow is already saying that, you look very ugly, you're horrible or something like that. Mahapapi, something. The Shruti does not have this problem. Because what is meant by Shruti is going to be expressed in the words. Now, therefore, when it comes to the Shruti, all that we have is to understand those words clearly. We do not have to give any meaning to those words. We do not have to give any meanings to those words. Those words are employed with their meaning, and that is all that we have to understand. Otherwise, people will think that let us give an interpretation of Vedas. He has interpreted like that, and she has interpreted like that, and they have interpreted. Oh, we are not interested in any interpretation. Your interpretations keep to yourself, because the Shruti has got its own intention, meaning to convey. We are not interested in what meaning you are going to give to it. And that is the reason why this is not about, it is interpreted like that over there by him like this. Mhm. We are not interested in any interpretations. What is intended? Shrutehe shabdanam padanam kim tatparyam vakyanam kim tatparyam. That is what we want to know. So over here now you pay attention to these words. What is said? Etameva viditva munir bhavati. Having known this means Atma, okay, Parmeshwara. Having known this, Muni bhavati, the person becomes a Muni. How does he become a Muni? Having known. Having known, he becomes Muni means a seer, somebody who is deeply contemplative, absorbed, is Muni. Mananashilatvam. The word Muni means Mananashilaha. The Sakim Shilam, what is his nature? Mananam. So such a person is not superficial. How is his thinking? That his thinking, his meditation has got immense depth. Up to where does that depth go? Till the point it reaches Paramatma. So he has dived so deep, the thought has dived so deep till it has merged with Paramatma. So that is Muni. So etam eva viditva, having known this eva, indeed, by knowing Paramatma alone, a person becomes Muni. There is no other way. And having known, he becomes a Muni. Okay? Now, this is the meaning of that sentence. Furthermore, so by this, we come to know that this Vakyam is indicating Vidvat Sannyasa. Having known, you see, he becomes Muni. This is talking about Vidvat Sannyasa. Then, एतमेव प्रव्रजिनो लोकमिच्छन्तः प्रव्रजन्ति. Desiring the Atmaloka, one takes to sannyasa. They take to sannyasa. They means those who are desirous, mumukshavaha. They take to sannyasa. Why do they take to sannyasa? Oh, because we like, that sannyasi kind of vagabond life, not because for that reason. Taking to sannyas for what? Wanting to know, wanting to gain, wanting to reach Atmaloka, means to know Atma is Brahman. He takes to sannyas. So now we find that there are two things. One, sannyasa is taken in order to know, and where the sannyasa comes or is taken as a result of knowing. And therefore, we have this Vividisha Sannyasa and Vidvat Sannyasa. These Vakyas, where do they occur? Where do these sentences come? They come in the Sharira Brahmana. In that section, that's why Spashtau Nirdishtau. Now it is very clear that there are these two types of sannyasa, Paramahamsa sannyasa. Now he is going to explain to you as what is called as munitvam. When is a person, when do you call that person a muni? Just because somebody likes the name, he is going to say from tomorrow call me muni. No, not like that. Call me muni is not muni. Call me muni is not muni. Then he explains munitvam mananashilatvam. What is munitvam? Mananashilatvam. There is depth. The character of a person is that he has depth to his thinking. What do you mean by depth? Not only that he is able to have some inference or he is able to see something more than the usual people like Sigmund Freud. No, not just that much. He is able to go across all the names and forms and see, discover the reality which is behind, beyond all the names and forms. Okay? So, mananashilatvam tacha asati kartavyantare sambhavati iti arthat sannyasah abhidhiyate. Tacha kartavyantare asati. That means the person is totally absorbed in his contemplation. He is, because it is a Shila. Shila means his character. It is not something that the person does only to show others. It is not something which is done only to show others. It is his character. It is his character. You know, I was there somewhere in Pune many years ago, and then it was a congregation of these devotees, Krishna devotees. Then they used to sing bhajans, gathering in some very, high-end people and all those things. They used to sing bhajans. So now these people, they will get into their devotional singing and start crying Krishna, Radhe and all these things, only if the mic is there in front of them. Till then they will be discussing samosa. But the mic comes in front of them, suddenly it transforms into some Surdas, Mirabai or some Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there and there. Let the mic be kept, Krishna, and then this fellow is crying and all. That is not Sheela. Sheela is to discover what does a person do when he is alone, even when others are not looking, observing, seeing, judging. What do you do? What comes to you naturally is Sheela. So over here, what is the Sheela of this person? Mananam. Contemplation is his Sheela. And as a result, what do we find? Kartavyantare asati. This is possible to give oneself completely to Mananam only if there is no other commitment, no other kartavyam, kartavyantare sati. And therefore, what are we now able to conclude? That arthat sanyasaha eva abhidhiyate. Therefore, this vakyam, when says that the person is a muni, it means sannyasa. Why kartavyantarya sati? There is no other commitment. There is no other occupation. Occupation in the sense, not something, like selling weedy. Preoccupation. When will a person be free from all preoccupation? When there is nothing else, no other commitment. For who can be free from responsibilities? He who is, therefore, he who is a sannyasi. Arthat sannyasa abhidhiyate. And therefore, now we are that by the force of that word, by the meaning, by the virtue of that word, muni, we are able to conclude vidvat sannyas shown in the Sharira Brahmana. Okay, this is what we are seeing. So now there is this vidvat sannyasa. Okay. Now, how does he live? What does he do? And the other vakyam, the other sentence which is showing Vividisha Sannyasa as being also there, we will see that when we meet again on Monday evening. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnadachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Shankaram Shankaracharya Keshavam Vadaraya Suprabhashikata Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all. Thank you very much.